So Massachusetts is not good for guns. I'm sure you're aware of this.
Mm.
And we had Bill Weld as governor back during the 90s, and he basically instituted his own, the OG libertarian, by the way, Bill Weld. He instituted his own version of like the Clinton era, like gun ban in Massachusetts, and it's never gone away. So it's like this, like really like wide ban on assault weapons and shit, whatever assault weapons even means. But then there was like a loophole in it where during the previous governor's tenure, Charlie Baker, who was the guy that instituted the lockdowns, even though he's a Republican, because Massachusetts actually has all like Republican governors almost, but they're all like Bill Weld, Charlie Baker, they're all Mitt Romney, they're all like the neocon, like progressive Republicans. But then Maura Healey is the current governor. When she was AG under Charlie Baker, she used this like loophole in the gun laws to like really crack down even on handguns, to the point where in Massachusetts you cannot own a handgun that has a magazine capacity of more than 7, I think.
That's worse than Australia. We can have
Yeah.
up to 10.
Yeah. So like I think you're not allowed to own a Glock at all unless you're law enforcement in Mass. Although I think there are probably some ways that you can get around and buy pieces and piece it together. It's really, really crazy. Like in Mass, you basically you can only own like handguns, and they have to be like old, like revolvers, like 6-shooters, or they can be like, you can have like SIGs and Smith and Wesson, like handguns, and that's about it pretty much.
What about concealed carry? Can you do that anywhere in the state? Not
Not
at
at
all.
all. Like if you're carrying a gun at all, you're like basically gonna get arrested in Massachusetts.
What about hunting rifles? Do they have restrictions on those too, or where you can go to hunt?
There are some restrictions on it. You can own them, but they have like similar restrictions on them. And of course, you got to get licenses and stuff. But you can have I don't know what, I don't know if there are like capacity limits on those or anything. Like there are definitely limits on them to some extent. But you can have hunting rifles. Probably basically like the things you can have are probably only like 22s and stuff. Like you
Yeah.
can only have like the minimal like rifle that exists pretty much.
But what about the Second Amendment? How do these bloody politicians get away with trampling on shall not be infringed? Can you explain that to me, Toad? I'm really struggling with the laws in some of the states here where they seem to be
Mm.
just as bad as some of the states back home in Australia. But I read the Second Amendment shall not be infringed. How do they keep getting away with that?
The Constitution is a piece of paper, so like the people in power, they don't have to
Mm.
abide by it. And if nobody checks them or stops what they're doing, then they're not going to stop doing it.